Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining the live stream tonight. Bracken and I are pumped to be here. I think I can't speak for Bracken, but I've missed you. I'm looking forward to chatting tonight, chatting with Mike. We got a few people on here. Who else we got? We got Jack and Tanae.
Redfish. We got Grayson. Grayson was at the top. He was the first one in. Wildwoods.
Grayson's so good. How do you say that? Pennsyltucky.
Yeah.
Bees. Well,
Edward. What's up? That's a new one. I haven't heard of him. Where are you from, Edward?
Yeah, I've seen him. Edward's been around.
Oh, has he been on there?
Yeah. But we just want to say thanks for joining tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. As always, what we want to do is be super engaged with you in the chat. So Bracken and I will ask questions, and please put your comments and questions in there, and let's have a good time. And thanks for the loyal returning visitors, and we're just grateful that you're here because we enjoy it and it's a lot of fun. So tonight, what are we giving away tonight, Bracken?
Hive tool.
We got a hive tool. So we want to thank our homies over at Apis Tactical. They're always good to us, and we got a hive tool to give away. Last time we did a hive tool, I think Grayson won it. So we'll see who wins this tonight. We'll do that at the end, and or maybe we'll do it in the middle. I don't know. What do you think, Bracken? We can do whatever we want.
I don't know if we say the end, more people show up. But they know when to show up now. Maybe we ought to throw it off. Then they'll come. Maybe they'll watch the whole thing because they won't know when we're going to do it.
That's right. Hey, Keith at Half Tracks and Honeybees is joining.
Oh, yeah, Keith's on. What's up, Keith?
Man, I love watching Keith. Keith out there with his dog. What's Keith's dog's name again that he's always out there with, cruising around?
He's a pretty consistent. He watches a lot of bee chats.
Yeah. Keith is great with the dog out there sniffing the turtles. But we've got the giveaway going on, so we'll do that, and we'll do hashtag hive tool. We'll do that at the end. And our topic tonight, we won't get into it right now, but in just a minute, we're gonna talk about a post I put up on YouTube a couple of days ago about the questions or your concerns from your first year of beekeeping. And we'll probably spend a lot of time on what success looks like in your first year of beekeeping, and we want to hear from you and your experiences, and we want to share what we think that looks like. As always, there are no absolutes in beekeeping, so we'll have a little bit of fun with what we think and encourage disagreement. That's all right. So, Bracken, let's jump in. Tell us about your last week. What was going on with the hives and anything else in your life?
Oh, last week has been kind of busy. As far as the beekeeping goes, I checked some of my queens that I grafted. They're doing pretty good. I got a few more that I need to check. I did 13 little mating nukes, the little styrofoam mating nukes. And out of those 13, I had 7 of them that had took and mated and were laying eggs and had brood. So more than half. So I'm happy with that. But then I have another 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, another 10, I think, that I put my queen cells in. I haven't got to them yet. So my success, we'll see. I got to check those ones and see how they're doing. I hope they're brooding up. They're in bigger colonies, so I hope they took and are, raring to go. I did some more single brood management this week. I had some hives that the flow must be hitting pretty hard because there was a ton of white wax yesterday when I was in. It was all over, and it was pure white. I mean, just that white as snow. It was beautiful. I did notice that the linden trees are starting to bloom. Russian olives are done up here anyways. So yeah, it's just kind of been not a super busy week with the bees. The farm's been more busy than the bees have been this week, but that's how my week's been. What about yours, Jed?
I'll tell you about mine in just a sec. You ought to post a pin Lee Fellows chat. He said, hello, we'll see you next Friday at Bruce's. So we got a little announcement here. Bracken and I are going up. I'm taking my first trip to Alabama, folks. I guess roll tide. so Bracken and I are headed to Alabama Thursday morning to go up and help Bruce's bees with the honey extraction. I guess Lee will be there, and there's always a good crowd there, so we're looking forward to that. Oh snap! Look at what Redfish said.
Oh man,
Redfish.
Redfish. There's two of us here, bud.
Yeah. Redfish we got a little friendly competition going with Roll Tide and Go Coug. So I might be sending Redfish some good BYU Cougar gear, and I'll sport the Alabama stuff.
I just want you guys all to know that I chose you guys over the Oilers game tonight. It's on right now. So if you find me like locked in over here on my phone, I'm watching Oilers. But
that is true dedication. If
that's my team. Oilers are my team. If I lose followers because I like the Oilers, that's fine. But I am an Oilers fan, and come on, Oilers. So as soon as this is over, I'm going to be in front of the TV watching Oilers.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the loyalty. If it was a regular season game, I might wait. But if it's like playoffs, like no way.
Yeah, I was tempted to be like, Oilers or Beekeeping, but then I thought, you know what? These guys have been loyal and good to me. Go, get Jack Dennett. I'm gonna have to block you. Sorry. Just kidding. Gonna have to kick.
So we're headed. So we're headed. Bracken and I are headed down to Alabama, and I'm with where Jack and Danae are. Like the Alabama in the middle of June does not sound pleasant to me.
It's the Alabama detox. You're gonna come back feeling like a moist sponge. When I came back, my skin was beautiful. I mean, really? Just flushed. Oh, it was bad.
But you almost
not gonna lie.
You almost passed out. I'll make sure I'm hydrating. But looking forward to it though. Excited, and I feel like Bruce has done so much for me and the beekeeping community. I kind of want to go down there and just be part of it and go help.
He's done so much for the beekeeping. Yeah, if I could do half the stuff that man's done for the beekeeping community, I'd feel successful. If you guys don't, I'm sure everybody on this chat follows Bruce's bees, but if you don't, go follow him, check him out.
That's right. And good evening to Melanie Cruz joined. I don't know that I've seen Melanie before, but that's good.
Yeah, Dennis is on. We've had Dennis before. Brisk is not a word you would hear. Yeah, it's not.
So so last week I was telling Bracken I've got this terrible tennis elbow. Maybe that's just a sign of my age coming, but lifting those heavy boxes, those supers, I'm trying to stay away from and stay off. So I took it pretty light. I just got into one of my hives last week and had a good time. This is the hive that was a split, so it's just a single brood chamber. I added a super to it, went through, found the queen, had a good time in there, but nothing crazy. I'm trying to let my elbow rest so that I can actually go to Alabama and be productive. But I'll get into all the hives tomorrow, but I'm going to have my son help me lift those deeps or the supers, those deep supers off.
That is one thing. Bruce has got most of his stuff is mediums, so
that'll help.
That'll help. But after 300 mediums, it feels like deeps. And he does have some deeps, but don't worry, I'll get those for you.
I'll be ready. I know I'm sound like a pansy. I am a pansy, but your time's coming, Bracken.
I think it only took me about a week and a half to recover from my last Alabama trip.
Oh, snap. I'm sweating just thinking about it. But how it's an interesting question. Before we get into the poll from the week and the topic, I spent 20 minutes in my hives this last weekend. Now I'm a backyard beekeeper. I can afford to do that, whatever. How much time are you spending in your hives, Bracken, in a week?
In each hive or like in total?
Like total in a week, whatever.
Oh man.
And while Bracken's coming up with this, love to hear from y'all. Like, in a week, do you just get in there in the weekend, or do you go throughout the week and spread it? How much time are you spending in your hives?
I bet I spend. Well, I don't know. I bet some weeks it's 2 hours, and I bet some weeks it's 6, maybe. Seems like every other weekend's a lot busier. I try to, I'm to a point now to where Ian Stepler said seconds save minutes, minutes save hours, hours save days. So I'm to a point to where, like, I'm in each hive for a few seconds, if that. If I get in there, and it depends on what I'm doing. And obviously, if I'm looking, if they're queen right, I get in there. I usually make a little bit of room, pull that first frame out, see eggs, boom, put it away. I'm done. I'm gone. So it depends on my tasks for that week. But if I'm putting apivar strips in or treatment or something, it's 5-10 minutes a colony, maybe not quite 10. It just depends.
What's up, Stella? Stella, the star of the show. Everybody say what's up to Stella.
Yeah, what's up?
You're a star, aren't you, Stella? You're on YouTube. YouTube came to your house, and you are on TV. Congratulations.
Say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Say go Oilers. Huh? Go Oilers. Okay, let's talk about these.
So I think, to Keith's point there, like, does taking a chair and sitting in your bee yard count? Like, why not? Like that.
Where's Keith? Let's see. Kodiak, Stella.
You can learn as much watching your bees as you can opening the lid. Yeah. What do you call it? BTV? Sitting there watching the bees? That counts.
Oh, well, if that's the case, I spend hours watching bees.
Yeah.
BTV. Oh, watching them like in real life. I see what he's saying.
Okay, so Melanie saying robbing is so bad in North Florida that she couldn't spend 20 minutes because they'll just get pounded.
Yeah.
Robbing from other bees. We definitely get the robbing from other bees. It's not bad yet. I've seen some of it. Also wasps. A little bit later, more towards July for me. I don't know about you, Bracken. You'll open the hive and I'll get wasps coming in, and they're just battling in there with the wasps.
Yeah, I like this comment right here by Keith. You really can tell a lot from a colony. At the beginning I couldn't, but you can tell a lot of what's going on in the bee yard just by walking into the bee yard. You know what I mean? You can, if there's a flow going on, you can tell. If you see the entrance and they're doing, a lot of people think they're swarming. Oh no, it's an orientation flight, so that's good. It means we got brood coming in, it's hatching good. You can tell a lot from just watching the entrance of a beehive.
Yeah, I agree. Ooh, that's a good comment.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah,
if you're videoing it doubles the time.
Yeah, it takes a little bit longer.
I've tried to be a little bit more religious on putting more content out there, but I don't film a lot of it. I need to get a little bit better at filming. I film what I can, but I do have those days where I'm like, I've got to get this done now. On my phone, I have 100 little starts of clips, but then I never finished them.
Yeah. I get that. That's a bit of a skill. Underrated. Sometimes you just keep the camera off and just work the bees.
Tom joined us via honeybees. Yeah, he's a big guy. He's one of those famous guys back east.
Tom's great. I've seen. It seems like Tom is on all sorts of live streams. He shows up all over the place. It feels like. Every time I'm watching something, there he is, sitting on his couch. Full of wisdom.
Thanks, Melanie. Yes, you do. Yeah, I gotta do some longer videos. I don't know. Or do people like? There's a question I want to ask real quick. Do you guys like longer videos, or do you like the 10-minute, 6-minute? Are you guys wanting? Even for Jed, like, do you want the 20-minute videos? You want 30-minute videos? Because 30 minutes of me talking, you might be like, okay, that's enough.
I like it. When you're just sitting in there talking in your truck. Hey, Bruce just sent me a text. It's on your stream. I'll talk for a second, Bracken. Bruce wants a link. He wants to join us.
Oh, that dirty dog.
So send Bruce a link so we can come jump on with us.
Okay, let me see if I can figure that out.
Yeah, you'll Stella will help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get Bruce to join. Okay. Okay, so we got so I tried something last week. I'm curious what y'all think of that. I just went into the bee yard. I had a couple things to do for about 20 minutes, and I just put my phone. That didn't take any time. There's no editing, no whatever. I just went live in the bee yard and set up my phone and just walked around and talked about nonsense while you joined. I think Jack and Danae, you were there. There were a couple others that joined. That's interesting, Bracken. Like, I'd tune into that if you were just putting around your BR. Just put on a live stream and chat while we watch you work. That was kind of a fun little thing to do. But I personally, I don't mind the longer videos, Bracken, because if I get bored, I can just fast forward through them.
Yeah.
Or I put you on double speed. Nothing.
Yeah, I'm a pretty I'm a more of a listener. I do watch a lot, but I'm like a lot of these guys, I love to put it on in the tractor and just listen to the comments or listen to the
live
Bruce, if you're
streams.
watching, I think I sent it to you. I don't know, I tried.
Okay, so we'll get Bruce to join. While he's joining, do you want to pull up the poll, and then we can shut it down when he gets on and see where we go with Bruce. Okay, so we did this. I put this up. It's only a couple days ago, but Bracken and I, with the topic being what does success look like the first year, I put this up there. What were the biggest questions or concerns you had in your first year with the bees? So if you can go back via honeybees, that's funny. What do you mean? What do you mean? Stella's the star, Stella. Like we got Bruce joining. Oh, why don't you take the poll down? We'll chat with Bruce for a little bit.
Yeah, Bruce is more important.
That's not true.
Bruce,
What's up, fellas?
I've been sweating. Like, I've been sweating ever since I booked my ticket to Alabama. I feel like I'm already there. Like, muggy, sweaty.
No, you haven't. You haven't been there.
I'm not prepared.
If you're in Utah, you're not, unless you're going to a sauna or whatever where you can get the nice, moist, humid heat. Sweating in Utah is different than sweating in Alabama.
It's constant.
Well, Bracken will tell you last year, and it wasn't even super hot. Humidity was pretty high, but it just doesn't evaporate. Like in Utah, when you sweat, it evaporates and it cools you like it's supposed to. In Alabama, you just get drenched and you just drip, and it's just kind of miserable. But yeah, I mean, you'll be fine. You guys are young. You guys are tough. If I can do it, you can do it.
Keith's right. He was saying, Keith from Half Tracks and Honeybees, practice sweat. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just conditioning myself.
Yeah,
I'm going into the steam room at the rec center.
Well, steam room, that might help get you prepared if you're going to the steam room. That might, but you got to work. You got to do some heavy lifting while you're in the steam room.
Yeah, and a rubber suit. You got to put your bee suit on, go in there and do push-ups and sit-ups.
Yeah,
in the steam room.
It's probably not a good sign that I can only sit there for 5 minutes. That's probably not a great.
Yeah, last year the humidity actually when Bracken was here, Gatorade for sure. Last year when Bracken was here, the humidity was high, but it wasn't as bad as it is sometimes. But I don't know if I sent you guys a week or two ago. I think it was like 86% humidity one day, and I think I was like, oh my god, it wasn't even very hot that day, but it was so humid. So anyway, yeah, you don't have to worry about dry skin down here. That's the problem you don't have down here.
Bruce, what are you up to? We got the extraction going on this week. What else is going on with you?
Oh, everything's just gearing around that right now. I've got pretty much everything should be ready to go. This weekend, I'm just going to go and count the boxes. About all I'm going to do. And then, we're getting in that situation where, Jack and Danae, heat index of 107. That I hope we don't have a day like that down here. My biggest concern is I don't want it to rain on the day we pull the honey, because if it rains, man, that'll be miserable because the bees, it'll just be miserable. I hope hope it's at least, even if it's cloudy, I hope it's not actively raining on us. There is the moisture situation with the honey as well. Tallow honey is typically a little bit more wet, but I've never had it measure. Some people worry really a lot if it gets in the 17s and even if it's really 18.5 or below, even 19. I don't worry too much about it. As far as I know, I'm gonna knock on my right here. I've never had any honey to ferment, and I've harvested in the South and the humidity, the tallow honey. I mean, for the last 11, however many years I've been doing this and harvesting. So I know people. It's kind of like I don't know what it is. If someone's got like a 16% honey, that's like a claim of, I don't know what it is. It's but our spring honey, I think, was 16.5, maybe 17 or so, but it was fine. It was actually really thick, and it was kind of hard to even get it to go through the strainer. Our our summer honey usually is a little bit more wet, but it's never been like in the like 20 before that I know of. It's pretty much by now it's mostly all capped, I think. And I actually, in the video that's going to drop in the next day or two, I I had a frame that wasn't capped, and I turned it on its side and I shook it really hard and it didn't shake out. The shake test is a test I like to use. If it doesn't shake out, usually it's fine. And so I think they're about done packing the honey in. I think hopefully they'll get it mostly capped and we're ready to go. Then is Cheryl, Bruce, do you ever do 8 frame in a 10 frame box? I do. I've got some boxes I bought from David Brown down in Bay Minette, down by Mobile. And some of those boxes, his I think it was his uncle, I believe, that was a commercial beekeeper. And he was kind of selling out pretty much. He was getting out of the beekeeping business. He was a little bit older, and a lot of his boxes had 8 frame spacers in them. So I just roll with it. I love it. I love the 8 frame. Bracken, you remember how thick those things are. The 8 frame spacers is, there's got to be drawn comb, though. You can't just put empty frames in there. It'll go all wonky, but man, it's just beautiful. Every once in a while they'll cross comb them, but when you're pulling them out, you just stick them in the uncapper and it just cuts all that off. It doesn't matter. So
do you prefer 8 over 9, Bruce?
I like to do 9 and 8. I don't know if I prefer it over that. If I had 8 frame spacers, I might utilize that in most of them, but I really don't have a huge preference. The thicker the frames, the easier to uncap and extract. It's just kind of how it is. However, if you're cutting off a bunch of cappings, the thicker frames, then there are a lot of honey is draining, out into the uncapping tank into a bucket. So you got to watch that bucket a little bit if that's happening. But you end up with the honey in the buckets. That's what matters to me. And it is easier the thicker the frames, the easier it is to uncap. And so and they're heavy. Bracken will tell you some of those 8 frame.
Yeah, they
8 frame boxes are just 8 frames and 10 frame boxes. I bet they weigh 4 or 5 pounds. Some of them maybe. I know a standard frame is probably about 3 pounds plus a little bit maybe. And so those like that are even heavier. Yeah, Keith says I like 9, like stretcher holes 9 works out. Yeah, I like 9. That's what I always ran until I got those boxes. And now if I'm just putting them in my standard random boxes, my little tool that I use to space them is 9 frame. So I go 9 frame. If they got 8 frame brackets in them, I just put 8 frames in there. It works both ways. So it works out good.
Do you use that little orange tool that has the spacer thing in it?
I've got the orange tool, but it's kind of wimpy. So I have a metal one that's more hardy and heavy duty. It's I got it I think I got it from Man Lake probably, or Daydan, or one of the companies with some metal one. And I know Jed Thorne sells a really good one too. That's just really super heavy duty. It's pretty expensive, but that thing I think you could just about beat it to death and it would never. That thing is incredible. But yeah, I like the metal one. Is a lot better. I think my grandsons, can you hear them? I don't know if you can hear them, but they're yelling up in the.
It's fine. My house is.
How many grandkids you got?
I got 3.
They
they're here right now. What's that?
They at your house a lot?
Well, my one daughter just moved here from Utah. Actually, they're living with us. They just purchased a house, but they haven't moved in yet. My other daughter lives in the area, but they're about to be transferred with the military to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And so they're over here quite a bit right now. We're going to miss them when they leave. So anyway, it's going to be sad. And then my one daughter that has Reed, who's the oldest grandson, they're the ones that just moved here from Utah. They actually are expecting a little girl here pretty soon as well, so that's exciting.
Hey Bruce, we're talking about extraction a little bit. I know we're talking about frames and those supers, but where Bracken and I were kind of talking about first year beekeeping, let's stay on this extraction topic. Like I personally have never measured the water content in the honey. My honey's always been really thick. I haven't had it go bad. Like maybe that's because I give it all away right away. Like I don't know. Where where does it need to be? Like, why is it important? Will you kind of talk about your experience with that?
I'm not, people could put in the comments what their opinion is on that. In Utah, you're probably not going to have a problem with honey being too wet unless you just extract it right when they put the nectar in. It's so dry out there. Yeah,
See you next
so
time. Yeah.
I will see you, Tom. But yeah, so I think the number is, you hear different things like 19, 19.5. Some people even say up to 20, but ideally it needs to be like 18.5 and below is what people say.
I've always shot for under 18, but that's just
Yeah, I think 18,
kind of been my
18.5.
number. You know, I'm not saying it couldn't be a little more, but
Yeah.
if I'm below 18,
Yeah, if you're below 18, you're good. Some people get nervous if it's like over 17, but I mean it's fine. I people love my honey, and some of it's maybe not quite 17 or 16 or 15. It's all, some of it's a little more than that. I don't know that I've never measured it and it been over like 17 or 17.5. I don't think. It's always been like last year. It was kind of amazing. We have an extraction house where we extract our honey. I actually bought a dehumidifier just because I wanted to try it. And I don't know, Bracken, how big do you think that space is? Maybe 1,000 square feet. I'm not sure how big the place is that we extract the honey. It's a pretty good sized room, but I bought a pretty powerful, and it's not sealed. Like it doesn't have HVAC. It's not sealed. Like it gets hot and humid in there as well. So the day before, when we pulled the honey, I set up my new dehumidifier, and Rusty, I think he dumped that thing a lot of times over throughout the night. 16.5 to 18. And if it's a little over 18, it's not a big
room. You've got a dehumidifier.
Well, we put it in there last year, and it brought it down, I think, like a half a point overnight. In the ones we tested the same box, I think even the same frames, and it brought it down a little bit. Believe it or not, in a room that's not sealed, it's actually fairly humid in the room because it's not it's sealed off, and so. And the honey's fine. Bracken will tell you the honey's fine. It's warm. It's hot in there. It's kind of warm and a little bit moist in the air. But I don't know how many times Rusty emptied that dehumidifier out. But he said he had to empty it several times. The air is so humid down here. But that's hot. One thing you can do if you put a dehumidifier in a room with your honey super stacked, it'll draw some of that water off of them. But I just don't worry. People get so concerned about that. Now, if I start having bottles blow up from being fermented, the danger is if it gets too wet, if the water content's too high, the danger is that it will ferment, and that's a nasty mess. I've seen pictures of jars that explode, or when people open up a drum of honey that's fermented, it's like it shoots to the ceiling because of the pressure that's built up from the fermenting. But as far as I know, I've never had any honey that is fermented. Not that it can't happen in the future, but I've never had an issue with it at all. And we just make sure, like if it's full of nectar, if it looks like it's not capped, I'll turn it sideways and shake it as hard as I can. We did that probably on a few boxes last year, Bracken. And if it doesn't shake out, or if it's just a couple of drops, I don't worry about it. It's never been over. It's never been too moist. And if it is too moist, and you turn it sideways and you shake it, it'll come out like rain. It's like a shower. It just comes flowing out of there. So, but yeah, I don't. Yeah. People are always like comparing how much their moisture content is and worrying about it. I just don't worry about it as much as some people. One day, if it comes back to bite me, then I will. But we've tested it a little bit. We don't test it a lot, but we do test it. We usually test a few frames here or there, and it's never been too wet. I don't know if we've ever even gotten over 18. Usually it's in the 17s, but I can't remember all the numbers. But usually it's fine. And people talk about how tallow honey is usually wetter than the spring honey, and it is a little bit more wet than the spring honey, but it's never been super high when we tested it. It's never been a problem.
Yeah, there's some good comments on this. I think Jen, if I remember right, Jen and Brian are in Colorado.
They are. Yeah, Brian's in Colorado. Yep.
Jack and Danae are in Wyoming. Bracken and I are here in Utah. What I've noticed, Bruce, and this probably has to do with the water content, so you tell me if I'm wrong, but since my first year of beekeeping, when I've extracted the honey, it's been really thick. Like I'll watch some of your videos, and the honey will come out like really fast, and it'll strain. and it's way more liquidy than what I've ever experienced here. So I've never measured mine. All I do is the shake test. I'll just shake it. If it doesn't come out, like obviously I want it capped, but if it's not capped and it's time to extract, I'm doing the shake test, and that has worked for me. Like,
Sure.
I haven't had problems.
I don't think in Utah, I mean, unless you have a monsoon rainy season, which you rarely do, you're not. I mean, I would be stunned if you guys ever had issues with honey being over too wet. I mean, I just think it is so dry out there. You have a
That's my,
natural dehumidifier out there. It's just the air is not humid, and so out there it's kind of funny how people complain about it being humid if it's like 20% humidity or 25% humidity. People are like, oh, it's so humid. I'm like, you guys are
we had
crazy.
a thunderhead cloud come over the other day, and it was a little muggy, and I can't remember if it was my wife or my daughter made a comment, oh, it's so muggy, and I was just like, really?
Yeah, come to Alabama.
It does. If you're used to the dry air, though, it does feel that way, though. I mean, I understand because I've lived out there, and even if you're here and you go out there on vacation, and then those thunderstorms moves in, it feels, because it's been dry, so you can tell a difference for sure. But here, sometimes you walk outside and you're just sitting outside. You're in the morning, it's like 70 degrees outside, 75 degrees, and you're just dripping with sweat because it's so humid sometimes.
So I want to comment real quick. That Brad Bees down there. That's my mentor. He's
okay. Awesome. Hey, Brad.
He's a veteran. He's an old guy. Sorry, Brad. I don't mean old guy, but
he's an experienced. He's got a lot of life experience.
He's a humble man. That is one of the best dudes. Shout out to you, Brad, for everything you've done for me and talk. Everybody's helped me a lot, but Brad's that guy that's right down the road. He's been a huge blessing and a huge help to my life. So that's why I left his comment up there for a minute. Wanted to say thanks, Brad, for what you've done for me. So
yeah, thanks, Brad. We hear rumors about Bracken, way he used to be a hooligan walking around, and he credits all his shaping up to you and the Bees. So we appreciate what you've done.
Awesome. Brad knew me in my younger days. I don't know. He's been in my life for quite a while, and he's probably seen quite the sides of Bracken. I don't know if he ever really knew me when I was in my really wild phase, but
a little over a year ago, we did a video of Bracken. I think it was a little over a year ago of you and how the Bees changed your life. And for those who haven't seen that, if you want to get a little bit of background on Bracken and things that he's been through and overcome, it's worth a watch. That was just an amazing interview and just a great video. And so I would encourage people to go check it out. Everybody has their own story. All of us have had our days where we weren't living like we probably should. I mean, no matter how good we think we are, no matter how good other people think we are, or what we're doing now, where we're at, we've all had days where we kind of maybe have done some things we shouldn't have done. And so it was just a really cool interview to see how honestly between God and the Bees, I mean, and your family, your beautiful wife that you have right now and your family, you were able to turn. You were in a pretty rough place. You turned it around. That's just an amazing story. So go watch that if you haven't had a chance to see it yet. Bracken, maybe you could, when you guys could pin it down in the comments if you want to. Pull it up and just
trying to figure out how to
down there. You just gotta go back in my channel and find it, and then it's in one of the playlists. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, go track that one down. That's a good watch. And I'm obviously kidding about Bracken, but that's actually how I met Bracken. Is I first saw him on that video. Then I connected with Bruce one day.
Okay.
I guess I didn't realize Bracken was in Utah. Bruce pointed me in his direction, and the next thing you know, we're sitting here on a live stream.
Yeah, that's how this community works. I was out there. Glade was there, and Ian and Jason Egan were there. We met at Lehigh one day. This is back, last spring. My daughter graduated from BYU. I think it was when I came out there for that. Bracken, that's when Bracken reached out to me. He couldn't make it down, but I didn't even know who Bracken was. But but at the time, he couldn't make it down that day. But we had those guys. We met several of us. I think Jason's wife came, and then everybody else that came. And my point is, one of my things I would like people to do is just in every little pocket, wherever you're at, whether you're in Utah or even out west, there aren't as many people out west doing the beekeeping, as a part of the beekeeping community. I know there's a lot of beekeepers out there, but I don't know that you see as many people like on YouTube or are really trying to network as much out there. Here in the east, and in the eastern side of the United States, there are just so many people, so many channels, so much going on. But I just encourage folks out there. You guys are out there. Brian's over in Colorado, Flower Street. So you guys, should pull him, and you guys should kind of get that western. That's just across the mountains from you a little ways. It's not, Glade's probably a lot closer to him than you guys are. So it would just be awesome if you guys could kind of network out there. I know you're trying to do that, and just get some things rolling out in the western part of the country. And then, of course, it's all part of the great, big, huge worldwide community. But it would be cool if you guys could kind of get together and do some stuff, do some collabs and things like that. It'd be a lot of fun. But that was what I encouraged them to do when we had lunch that day at Cafe Rio there in Lehigh. Encouraged everybody to kind of y'all just reach out to each other and just get something going out there. Y'all, I know you're working on trying to do that.
Oh, we're making some big progress. For me, it's been a lot of fun to connect with the community, all these folks here, and we ought to do that, Bracken. We ought to bring on more of the local folks here. We will, and sure. But our ultimate goal, Bruce, I don't know if you knew this, is we strategically put this live stream at the same time as Dave Burns because we're going to take him over. One viewer at a time. What do we got here from Tiny Creek? Bracken?
Yeah, David, he reaches out to a lot of people, but there's a niche for everybody, and so that'll be awesome if you guys. I think you're going to gain momentum as you go along.
We're just playing. What do we got here from Tiny Creek?
This is a question for Bruce here. I
think Tiny Creek, I believe he lives here. I think he's from Alabama as well. Just let us know. I can't remember. I've watched a couple of his videos. Tell us your name, Tiny Creek, and tell me where you're from. I think you're right, maybe up in North Alabama somewhere, but let me know where you're from. But did you dehydrate the peppers and then blend them before you put them in the honey? I've only tried hot honey a couple times, and we're still trying to get it figured out. The hot honey was pretty good. We just used chili peppers so far. I do have some ghost peppers up there, but we haven't made any in a while. Somebody like Brian over at Flower Street might be a better person to ask that question. We used to use the dried chili peppers you buy. We got the McCormick brand, and we have Andrew. That's right, Andrew. Andrew made a recommendation to me. I bought one of those. It's a leather belt. It's got a magnet for the hive tool and a little hook for the smoker and a little pouch. I ordered one of those, South Carolina. Okay, I was thinking it was in Alabama for some reason, but a little pouch from Foxhound. I'm going to try it out and see. I like the idea for the magnet for my hive tool, so I don't always lose my hive tool. But it's a little belt that you wrap it around, and then you just can use it. I haven't gotten used to it yet because I've never used it before. I tried a little bit the other day, and it seemed to be pretty handy. David who. But yeah, as far as the hot honey goes, I'm not an expert at it, but we just use dried peppers already. We buy them dried. And so they wouldn't be a problem as far as putting moisture in the honey. As far as I was concerned, in the honey, it turned out okay, but it's just kind of, I don't know. It just I don't love real spicy food anyway, so it's not my thing really. So maybe that's why I haven't really jumped on it like some people do. But I know there's a market for it. I just need to probably make some more.
How do you do it, Bruce? Like, what you have the? I'm genuinely curious. I'd love to do it. Yeah. You buy the dried peppers, and what do you do?
Brian Coper put out a really good video on it, on how to make it, how he makes his. Now, he didn't give his exact amounts. You got to figure out your own deal on that as far as the amounts of what kind of peppers.
Yeah.
But you just warm it up. I think Brian gets his up to like 105, maybe 110 degrees, and then you just kind of stir the peppers in. That's how he does it. And then you stir them in for X number of minutes. And then you strain the peppers out, and then that's what you end up with. Now the stuff we did has a little, even by straining it that way, you have a little bit of a little tiny flakes of pepper in there. It's really kind of good, and it just gives a little peppery taste. And what usually happens is ours was very mild, like it didn't have much of heat to it at all. But at first when you put it in your mouth, it tastes really sweet, and then the heat kind of chases it. It's kind of wild how it is, but there are hot honeys out there that are just so hot, like. Some people love those. I don't care anything about having a super hot honey. That's just not my thing. But I like the more mild. It's really pretty good on like things like pizza and chicken and things like that. It's really pretty darn good. But it's that sweet taste followed by a little bit of heat. It's pretty darn good. So
yeah, I like it. I like it on my pizza quite a bit. I have that at work. Put that hot honey on the pizza. That's awfully good.
Yeah. Yeah. Edward says there he dehydrates his peppers and grinds them into powder. So we've never ground ours. That might be what we need to do because it's, you know, you got to put a lot of peppers in there to get the heat. So maybe if you ground ours up a little, we've just used what, you know, the chili peppers you shake on pizza. That's what we used. Just put a couple containers in it, and in a gallon, I think we put like a lot, and just stirred it for a while. And anyway, but I thought I'd jump on for a few minutes, guys. If there are any questions, I know you guys, I didn't mean to take over the chat tonight, but if there are any questions from new,
you can join anytime.
If there are any questions from new folks, you can just stick them in the comments here. That'll be kind of fun to answer them. You know, we'll do the best we can. And you got people from all over the country in your chat tonight. That's awesome. You got Redfish. I think he's from down here in Alabama. You got Darren from Pennsylvania. Dennis Sherrill's in here from Alabama. Hope Sadler, that's a great question, Hope. Does the Sting Stopper jacket run true to size like a t-shirt? I'm ordering one. Hope, yes, it does. If you go to if you go to any of my recent videos, if you just tap on the video, the little link will pop up to that Sting Stopper jacket, and there's a little bit of it's an affiliate link. So if you want to do that, you don't have to, but that'd be appreciated. But any of my recent videos, just tap on the screen, or it pops up also in the comments, and that little link will pop up. But yeah, it runs true to size. That's one thing I was real skeptical about, because the jackets I've had in the past, I always ordered a size up. Part of my problem is that I've got like I'm 6 feet tall, but I've got a long torso. Like my trunk is long. I've got kind of stubby legs. I don't know. That's maybe not true, but anyway, with the previous jacket I owned, the jacket was really tough, and I don't know if I ever got stung through it, but they get up through the back. I think I'd end up with some in my veil occasion. I think they climbed up my back. Every once in a while, I get one in the old plumber's crack back there. So that's not a problem. That's not a problem with the Sting Stopper. It is long and it is true to size. I wear an extra large t-shirt, extra large in most everything. And instead of the double X, which I wore in my previous jacket, the Guardian that I had, I ordered an extra large. And I talked to Adam at Foxhound. And I said, man, he's like, no, just order true to size. That's what you have to do. And it fits me perfectly in Bracken. You've got one and it fits in perfectly. It's true to size.
Mine's,
so I would say,
mine's a large and it fits.
I would say just order true to size. And if there's a problem, I'm sure you could send it back. But I think that one of the things they tried to do when they created those jackets is make them true to size. And so if you get one that's a size up, you might have way too big of a jacket.
I got some connections, Bruce. I might make you a custom jacket that covers that plumber's crack down there.
Well, the Sting Stopper takes care of it. It works. It's long. It's real long. Like it hangs down. Like it goes down. Now it's got a really good elastic around the bottom as well, and so it doesn't ride up your back like some of them do. And it's long, and I haven't had any issues at all with it. Like I've had no. If the bee gets in my veil, it's because if the bee gets in my veil, it's because I forgot to zip up my veil when I got a drink or something. But it's not because they're climbing up. They don't just appear in my veil for no reason. And it's not a big deal. The Guardian is a great jacket. I had to pull over. I love those jackets, and they're a little thicker, I think, than the Sting Stopper. I never got stung that I know of through the Guardian ever. If I did, it was only a time or two, but it just didn't fit me. It was just it wasn't long enough for my torso, and so I actually love the Sting Stopper. It's been a good jacket for me. Do I put my supers on wet?
They look really sweet too.
Yeah, I love the color. Mm-hmm. At first, I was like, I told Adam, I'm like, I don't know, man, that olive color. But now when I got one, it is just bad to the bone. It's cool looking. It's got the patches, the Velcro on it for patches, and so everything. And it has a flag with it. But I will tell you this: Bracken, straighten me out real quick. Put the flag so the stars are forward. So in order to do that, you need to put the flag on the left shoulder. Or if you got a cool friend like Bracken who sent me one of his military ones, I put it on my right sleeve. But those automatically have the stars facing forward. So I thought that was awesome. Bracken sent me one of his flags from his military service. But make sure you put the flag. I think it's best if you put it so the stars are going forward, whichever sleeve it needs to be on, right, Bracken?
Yep, doesn't matter which, stars forward.
Because you're running towards the action, right?
Yep.
In life or in the military, in crisis, beekeeping, or in life.
Yep.
Going to battle. Bruce, what?
I didn't know that. Did you just learn that when you were serving, Bracken?
Yeah, military was very critical on how you wore a uniform, and yeah, stars always face forward. you'll see it now that I pointed it out, and it's okay. Like people, people don't know, and I'm glad they're being patriotic, and it's good. But you'll see a lot of, like, on a vehicle, if the stars are backwards, like technically they're supposed to be forward, because if you were to put a flag on a pole and then take off running, that's the way the flag is supposed to face.
It's going to wave that way.
Yep,
Oh,
it's going
that's
to
a
wave.
good way
You're
to
going.
look at it.
You're moving towards the action. You're moving towards the action.
Yep, towards. Holy cow! Did you guys see this? I'm sorry. I'm gonna start blushing here in a second.
Oh no!
Got Ian on here.
Oh no!
Shoot Ian a link. Shoot Ian a link. He'd probably hop on here if you shot him a link.
Welcome.
Ian, you want to?
Oh man, I don't know if I could handle that.
Oh, you sure? Ian's the definition of cool, man.
Hey,
Ian's
listen,
awesome.
Listen, Ian. I can't have. I'm just going to say this really fast because Bracken won't. I can't have a conversation with Bracken about beekeeping without Ian Stepler coming up in the conversation. It's unbelievable.
Funny.
A little bit flustered.
You guys want me to ask him if he wants to come on?
Oh yeah, I might not talk much, but yeah.
No, for real though. Like, I hadn't been watching Ian's videos, and Bracken started talking about him, and I watch him, and I love Ian's style, man. I love it.
Yeah.
But doing farming up there in Canada, a lot going on.
I love his farm. When he adds those little farming things, I know he's probably doing it for everybody, but a little part of me just tells, you know what, he put that in there just for me.
In fact, Ian, I know this is hilarious. He's probably just cracking up about how embarrassing this is. Let's have Ian on another time. But you quoted him earlier today. You quoted him earlier. Yeah, what did you say?
Seconds save minutes, minutes save hours.
There you go, Ian. You're getting quoted.
Invest in your equipment and build your bees. I got all sorts of Ian Stepler quotes.
That's hilarious. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, that's wow. I remember one time, I think it was Grayson. We were talking. It might have been on his video. He says, if you ever get Ian Stepler to join on your live chat, you've made it as a beekeeper. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I can quit now.
Congratulations.
Ian made my chat.
I'll tell you, here's another one. This is another one. It's an old video Ian did. It's one of my favorites, and it's only like 5 or 6 minutes long, but the principle he teaches is awesome. It's called the 10-day rule. Just look up 10-day rule. Look up 10-day rule, Canadian Beekeepers blog, and you just watch that video. And that applies not only to bees, I think it applies to farming in general. So Bracken, look that up. You guys both look up the 10-day rule by Ian Stepler.
I'm pretty sure I have it in my favorites list. Hold on.
It's a really good video.
Somebody grab that and pop it into the channel so
I'm on
look it up.
But yeah, there's a question about the wet supers. What did they say? Do I put them
up wet? Do you put them up wet?
Does that mean put them up like store them wet?
I would imagine.
I think that's probably. I do not. Now a lot of commercial beekeepers do. They'll put them up. They'll put them in storage wet. The commercial guys have a. You probably have to get a permit to do this. They have these little pellets they put. They have a sealed off. Ian, appreciate the kind words. Okay. I appreciate the kind words. But they have a product they put in their honey super rooms. I can't remember what the little pellets are. It's kind of a chemical though. It's totally. I think it's organic. It doesn't, but it is deadly. It'll kill anything living in there. And a lot of them will put the supers up wet, and then they pop those open, and it just. I think it's kind of sucks the oxygen out of the air. If I'm not mistaken, and kills anything in there. So you don't want to be in there. It's got to be sealed. And then over time, like it's like, I think just for a few days, and then it's safe to go in there. There's no problem. I think it just kind of I'm not sure exactly what the mechanism is, but a lot of them store them wet. I know. Yeah. Sulfur or toxin. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah. So Zach
Bruce,
talks about that, but
give me just 1 second real quick. Put hashtag Hive Tool. And Jed, if you want to start getting a list, we're getting kind of close to the end.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do that drawing. So get your name, hashtag Hive Tool. All right, continue on.
I'm sorry. I'm used to going more than an hour.
Yeah, we can
go over.
I was thinking 10 minutes, but I never or I'll be on here for 10
Yeah.
minutes. We've already been here like 20 minutes, and we haven't even got started
It's
yet.
good, though. It's good.
We're grateful for you, Bruce. We love having you on.
We can go over
But-
a little bit if we need to.
But what I do with my supers, it is real wet down here and everything. I let after we're done with our first harvest, I put them back on the hives and they fill them back up again. I put them on there wet. Just put them on as soon as I can after we harvest. But when I decide after our second harvest here, this next weekend, I leave them sitting out, let the bees clean them up, and then I store them dry. And when I do that, I use Paramoth in mine, and it's worked pretty good. Works well. It just, the Paramoth gases off pretty quickly. Like, you really should probably apply it a couple of times. I think it gets me through the hot part of summer into the winter where it does get much cooler here. And then I usually lose just a few frames, a little bit. I lose a little bit of wax every year, that wax moth, but nothing like, I usually have, I think, around 200 or more super stored. And it may be just a couple of boxes. It's not anything major. Maybe, 5 to 10 boxes at most that get destroyed by the wax moths. If there's any holes or entrances where the moths can get in there. But in the springtime, by the time it starts to warm up and the wax moths become more active, I get them out on the caught hives. And by then, all the paramoth is gassed off. You can't even tell. It doesn't even really smell like the paramoth anymore. Now, if you have fresh paramoth in there, like if you do it 2 or 3 times during the winter, or Tiny Creek says he applies it weekly, there's no way I could do that with the number of supers I have. But if you have some that's in there pretty fresh, you got to let it's probably a good idea to let them air out anyway, but make sure they're aired out really good before you put them on the hives. But mine, it's all just gassed off. I mean, it's all gone. There's no paramoth left in the hives by the time in the
Legend.
Yep, Legend's here. Legend in the house. What's up, Charlie?
Charlie the legend. Charlie loves potato chips.
Yeah.
When I know from his live streams, he eats pretzels and potato chips. I
thought it was popcorn.
It's popcorn.
Yeah, he does popcorn as well. We gotta maybe that's when we reach that status, the legend status. We'll bring popcorn on.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's how I store them, but I do not store them wet. If that's to answer your question, I just don't do that. And
Bruce,
I just
have a question for you that Jed actually had it on his agenda here, and it's been I want to ask it. I gotta ask it. It's making me kind of think too. But one of his questions that he put here for his agenda that we were going to talk about tonight is, what does success look like in 1 year, or just in general? When you're beekeeping, what does success look like
in your first year? This is
your first year.
Like your first year. Like
how did you base? How did you base? Like, oh, I got a bunch of honey. My bee, like, I think you could even apply it now. Not just maybe your first year, but how do you gauge success in beekeeping?
Well, I think the first key is to keep your bees alive, get them built up, get them through winter. My first year I bought 2 hives and I bought 2 more. I split them. I ended up with 6 through the winter, and they all made it. But so I thought I was pretty good at it. I thought I had it figured out. So I think success will be getting through that first winter. I think anything else that happens, like if you are able to make splits, if you get some honey, that's a bonus. But I don't know that you should always expect it as a brand new beekeeper. I knew nothing. I mean, I thought I knew, and I loved the bees, but I really didn't know much about it. And so I just think the goal is to keep the bees alive. That's one way to measure success. And I would also say, if the bees don't make it through winter, or if you lose some of them, I think you're a success. If you're strong enough, if you want to have bees, that you start over, you just don't quit. You're tenacious and you keep going. You try it again. But I would say a successful beekeeping is still to this very day is to get my bees through winter, get them built up, manage them properly so they make it through winter.
I think any year that's a good one. If we're just talking first year, Bracken, my opinion is, like, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to do all those things. I'd say getting comfortable, like just being the bees enough that you get comfortable, that you get confident, that you're enjoying it. Your bees may not make it. I think you said, Bruce, you had one of the 2 hives die that first.
No, my first year, I ended up 4. All of them made it through.
All of them made it. Okay.
But now that wasn't the case. that wasn't always the case. I had a couple of years there where I thought I had it figured out, and I realized very quickly that I didn't have it figured out because I lost quite a few. And so that's the thing. You can't. I don't know. There's that Dunning-Kruger curve. If you've seen that, Randy Oliver did a little takeoff of that, where you've got the, whatever it is, the first 3 years you think you got it figured out, the curve goes way up, and you're just, you think you're awesome, and then you get to about, where you're at the peak of knowledge, you have everything figured out, and then you come crashing down. As they call it, the pit of despair. Like you realize you don't know anything. And then you get more on a constant upward plane where you just gradually learn, and then you become better and better at what you do. And that curve in beekeeping, it never levels off. It continues to, I don't think in anything it ever, if that curve ever levels off, if you think you got it figured out, then you're really not growing. You're not getting better. You're really not, you don't have it figured out. The one thing about anything in life, and especially beekeeping, is you always got to learn. There's always something to learn. Even just say, for example, the big bee die off this year. I mean, commercial guys that have been doing it for a career for many years lost some of them like 80% of their bees, 90% of their bees, and they know what they're doing. So even those guys that you would think would have it figured out, something happened. And so now they got to backtrack, pick up the pieces and just kind of start over again and try again. And so the success, I measure it as getting through winter. Like you said, Jed, I like that. Just become comfortable with the bees, learn how to identify the different types of bees, learn how to manage them and work with them, and just learn to recognize things in the hive. And that I'm still learning things. Like I'll see something, I'm like, I've never seen that before. I mean, it happens every once in a while. One of my videos will be like, well, I'll be darned, I've never seen that before, and it's just crazy because I've been in probably thousands of hives by this time of my career in beekeeping, and every once in a while they still throw me something I've never seen before.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing, Bruce. Bracken, what do you think, man?
Wow, we got all sorts of legends on here tonight, man.
Yeah, it was a good showing. A lot of fun. Hey, well, let's wrap. Let's go ahead.
Let's recognize. We got Greg in here. We've had Ian in here.
Yeah.
We got Keith in here. So many people. We got Charlie in here. The legends in here. We got so many folks in here tonight. And I appreciate what you guys are doing. I think it's cool that you guys got kind of this little Western chat going out there in the west side of the nation, out there in Utah and out, Colorado. We got a lot of folks on here from out there, names I don't recognize, I'm sure. And then also a lot of the folks from back here in the East. And so you guys are getting a pretty good little following, and I think it's awesome. And I know a lot of people know Glade as well, and some other ones out that way. So, I'd encourage everyone in the chat tonight to spread the word. These guys, Bracken and Jed and even, Glade, those Utah guys, and Brian out there in Colorado, all doing some really good work. And so just look them up and subscribe. And
it's you big names that are helping us getting going.
Well, it's, for example, Jed, how long you've been doing? A couple of years now, is that right? Beekeeping.
I've been doing beekeeping, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, something like that.
5 or 6 years, but Jed he's kind of like the Brian Coper of ours. Jed's got, three colonies is his goal. And so a lot of people are in that range where that's about what they want in their backyard. And Jed shows you everything he's doing. And Bracken's kind of he's a sideliner, and he's, kind of doing it more from a business perspective as far as growing. He's, that's why he's a little bit like me in that respect. He's sending off to Almas, trying all kinds of things, doing some queens and looking at it as a business as well as just as an opportunity to just move your life forward, so to speak. The bees mean a lot to him, to both of you guys and everyone in here. And then, of course, Glade's out there doing it as well, and so many other people. So, it's kind of like, it's just good to see you guys doing this. And I would love to see the left-hand side of this country, the western side of this country, get more involved. And as a whole, there's some people doing it, but I'd like to see way more people over there, kind of like the East Coast. There's obviously more people over here on the east side of the Mississippi, but, in general, population. But it's cool to see you guys getting something going out there. It's awesome.
Well, if you think about it, Bruce, thank you. And you think about it, like Bracken and I have talked about this, but as part of my beekeeping journey this year, I decided, hey, I want to get involved more with the community. start on YouTube, reached out to you, and to be in this live stream tonight with these folks that I've been watching for so long. I mean, we made fun of Bracken with Ian Stepler coming on. That's pretty funny, but it's also pretty cool, and we're grateful for this community and the support that people give each other. And
I mean, you got Zach Heinzelman in here from over in Hawaii. He was on our chat last night, and he's the guy I get my queens from. So it's just pretty neat to see all these folks in here. It's really fun to see folks that are on ours. And Tiny Creek has been all. I mean, you could go down the list. Most of the people, Redfish, Grayson's on here. I just can't name everybody, but it's just cool to see. And you guys have got 40 folks on here. It was a little higher than that a little while ago. So it's just fun to see. You guys have been doing this, what, about a month or two?
Yeah.
Not even that.
Ian, who? Yeah, Zach.
Is that your queen guy?
That's my queen guy. I'm trying to get him. I'm going to get him some more from him, hopefully, here. And I may try and, replace some and just try to do a few more splits this summer.
Better watch what he says about my boy Ian.
Which island is he on?
He's just joking.
Which island is
he's on
Zach
the big island,
Kona.
Yeah.
Zach, when I'm out there, I go there, once every year or two. I might give you a holler. Come see the operation down there.
Yep. It's nice listening to beach chats while powering through the nukes. I guess they're about 4 hours earlier than us over there, so they're just in the middle of their afternoon.
We're just here for the hive tool. The hive tool.
Shut up already.
Yeah, prizes. Keith, man.
Hilarious.
No, Keith is awesome. I had Keith on my channel the other night. He came in when Greg and Brian were. Keith is just one of the coolest dudes on the planet, man. You look at Keith, you talk to Keith, man. I mean, you think someone's just being cool. Keith fits that mold. He's awesome. He's the best.
He's a lot.
I hope you win tonight, Keith. I hope you win that hive.
I'll tell you this.
He almost deserves one. Just
I wonder if we ought to. That's funny. That made me laugh.
I got Keith. Let's see. Did I add Keith's name on there? Is Keith on there?
Hey guys, put in. What's the hashtag again? It's hashtag hive tool.
Hashtag hive tool.
If you haven't put it in there, go ahead and put it in there one more time. They're going to spin it here.
We don't have that fancy thing you do, Bruce. We got to put ours.
I put them in manually. But let's do the hive tool. Shout out to our friends from Apis Tactical, and
let's hurry and give that, and then we can wrap.
I can't share my screen because we're on Bracken's channel tonight, so you guys will just have to trust me. I'll say this though, Bracken has guessed the winner, believe it or not, 2 live streams in a row. So who you got? Who's your money on?
I'm hoping Keith gets it for that comment. That's even if he's won before.
Okay, well,
that made me laugh.
I got everybody. Like I went through. I got every. Oh no, Reem Angus just added his, so he's not in there. Let me add
Smiley Ray.
I got Smiley.
Reem Angus.
Okay, Block Farm. I didn't have. Let me add Block.
Wow, you got Wildwoods. You got Grayson Wildwoods.
And Grayson.
Yeah, I got Grayson.
Black Farm.
Okay, I got everybody up above. So we got 20 or so people that have done. Okay, here we go. Rock and roll. You ready?
Yep.
Let's see here. Spinning. And the winner is Eddie. Eddie, you still in the house?
Eddie.
Confirm.
Where's Eddie at?
Tell us you're here, Eddie.
Get with Jed. He'll give you his email.
Well, I don't want to move on until we know Eddie's here because I'd like to. Oh,
there he is.
You go, Eddie. Okay, so here's the deal. So Eddie,
me?
He's like, me? Yeah, man, you won. So Eddie, shoot an email right now to jedsbeekeeping@gmail.com. jedsbeekeeping@gmail.com. Shoot me your address and I'll ship it out to you. And please tell me you don't live in Australia. I'm not shipping it to Australia. Jason Seaward won last week, and I'm shipped his to Canada. But yeah, thanks.
Y'all are getting fancy sending it out of the continental United States.
I don't know. Like we'll see how that goes. But hey, $20 from Greg. That's cool.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Congrats, Bracken. And for those that haven't, we're on Bracken's channel tonight. Like, if you haven't subscribed to Bracken over at Barker's Bees and Honey, like, go do it. Everybody subscribe to Bruce, but if you're not, you're crazy. Go subscribe to Bruce.
And go subscribe to Jed over there.
Oh, by the way, Bracken, in honor of this being on your channel, I don't know if you noticed the hat.
Yeah, I noticed. Jed,
That's
we gotta get
nice.
you. This is my yeah.
That's nice.
Maybe
I've got a
here's
pile of hats
what we're
over
gonna
here.
do. We're gonna take if I don't know how exactly that the 20 in that works, but what I'm gonna do is anything that comes from these chats as far as like money goes, I'm gonna give it back. I want to make some hats and we'll give these away and
The
do
giveaways for that.
some giveaways for that. We'll utilize that for that.
It'll just be combined with your of course, YouTube's gonna get their little whatever that percentage is out of it. But after that, then whatever comes back to you, it just shows up whenever you get paid monthly.
Okay.
It just is part of your
I'll keep
part of your
track.
Google payments. So
Hey, I've got an idea while we got all of us on here. So we always do our live streams on Thursday, 6 Mountain Time, 8 Eastern. We're going to be in Alabama Thursday. So it's going to be on my channel. My vote is we just do a live stream. Like I'll just you know how I did that live stream on last Saturday or whatever day that was, Bruce?
yeah, we'll have to see. It's 7:00 here, so we'll have to see what the day is looking like when that happens. But bring your gear so we can, bring whatever you need to do to live stream when you come. If you could use a computer or phone, or what are you using?
Yeah, I'll just use my phone. I don't think we'll schedule it as the point because who knows where we'll be, what we'll be up to. I'll just do a live stream.
We did one up at the Bee Expo last winter, and we didn't plan on it, but I think on that Friday night of the Bee Expo, I think it was Friday night, everybody got back to the rooms, and I just hopped on my channel, and Greg, me, and Brian did a live stream. Just they were in their own places, but it was kind of fun. We talked about the day at the conference and things like that, which is another thing. Anyone who's in this chat, you two included, if at all possible, you need to try to go to the Bee Expo this year. It's just an incredible experience, and you'll meet all these people. Most of these people are in this chat right here will be there. A lot of them will be.
I'd love to go.
And put a name with the face. It's the second weekend of January.
Oh, it's a good time.
In Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. Yep.
Yeah,
it's
that
just
would be a blast.
look it up. It's incredible. Anyway.
Well,
hey.
Go ahead, Bracken.
No, thanks everybody.
You guys better just now listen. When you come down here, and I had to tell Bracken this last year, and he did it. Thank goodness. Make sure you bring enough changes of clothes for your trip, because you don't want to wear the same clothes 2 days in a row. Bracken, am I right about that? You don't want to wear the same clothes 2 days in a row because that will be nasty. So bring your pair of clothes traveling, then bring you a pair for Friday, a pair for Saturday, and then a pair for the and for Glade and Bracken, that'll be maybe for Sunday as well. We may go to church. We could meet at 8:30 for church. We may go to church in the morning and then drive you down to Panama City. Jed, bring you a pair to fly home on Saturday evening, and put something that you can put it in because it's going to be drenched with sweat. It's going to be nasty, sweaty, and sticky and gross.
I took a black trash bag and shoved everything in there when I was done, and then
you'll need to do. And then as soon as you get home, throw it in the washing machine because it's going to be nasty. So just to let you know, you're gonna sweat. You're going to drip like gallons of sweat. It's going to seem like you're going to be drinking. You're going to literally be drinking gallons of fluid. If it's hot and humid, now if it's cloudy and not too humid, it won't be bad. If it's cloudy but not too sunny, but if it's a typical summer day down here, you're going to just absolutely want to.
Listen, you guys, I don't know if we're ending this chat at the right time or the wrong time, but these comments are spicy. They are so funny. We got
where are we at?
Charlie. He's going to be doing autographs and photos at the conference. You got Panther scores going.
Man, as legendary as he is, he needs to get NIL money, kind of like the athletes for signing autographs. People need to pay him to get autographs. Charlie there.
Redfish.
Legend. That's right.
Extra pairs of drawers.
Absolutely, man.
I'm not catching up.
Drawers meaning pants, right? Drawers meaning pants. Yeah, you gotta make sure. Yeah, you're gonna be soaked.
Thanks. Good enough, honey. Backyard.
That is funny. Yeah, Bruce really selling it. Yeah, just appreciate everybody. We'll do it. Hopefully, I don't think we'll schedule it because who knows where we'll be going down in Alabama. But we'll plan on doing a live stream, and we'll just be there hanging out with Bruce and Sweaty and just having a good time, I think.
Yeah, you may want to actually bring a pair too for that evening to sleep in or to kind of change color. You don't want to sleep in your nasty. You know what I mean? You just need to be prepared for sweat when you're out working, and then nice, cooler clothes for when you're not working, because it's going to be. I mean, I say that, and it'll end up being a cold front move through, and it won't be bad at all. But it's going to be.
Do you
It's going to
have
be
cold-
Alabama. It's
in
Alabama, of course.
Do you have cold fronts in Alabama?
Not, I mean, I guess in the summertime they're not really cold,
60
but they are a little bit. They
72
maybe
degrees today. Whew.
It was
Keith, man,
90 degrees.
Keith, I don't know about that, man. Sometimes if it's super humid, man, it just doesn't evaporate off as quick. But when it's sunny, it does. It's not quite as bad, that's for sure. But man, sometimes it's so humid. Man, sometimes it just seems like you want it to evaporate. It's almost oppressive. It just kind of wants to just smother you. So I'm just trying to scare you guys a little bit. It's really not that bad. Bracken survived it. And if I can survive it, then you guys can survive it. No trouble. You guys are both young and, tough. I'm old and wimpy.
Yeah, we'll
Cold front at the south. It's called air conditioning. Oh, funny.
we had some good comments.
Yeah,
All
a lot
right.
of these folks in here are here from down here in Alabama, here in the South, so they know what they're talking about. So, go back and look at these comments, and it's the words of wisdom for you.
So I'm looking forward to it.
My God.
All right, Bracken, let's wrap this sucker up. Thanks
Okay.
everybody for joining.
Yeah, go like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family if you want, if you liked it.
Yeah, we appreciate the support.
Yeah, thank you. See you later.
Have a good night.